he's got to come back in for West Ham. I just think anything short of him not coming back in for West Ham is negligent.
It does seem strange now the wrapping up in cotton wool you've got with Branthwaite. I could understand it. I know obviously Joe was thinking he should have gone straight back in last weekend, but I could understand how, after how well they'd done at Ipswich Town, particularly Michael Keane with his goal and dominant both ends, that he didn't play him last week. But I think everyone was thinking has to be the time when Jarrad Brantwaite comes in now against Southampton, and if he's acting like that with other players, I'm not too sure why it's like this with Brantwaite, because he's by my understanding he's fully fit now. He just wants to get in and get back that sharpness. So yeah, he's by far and away the most valuable player at the club. Potential generational talent. I think he should have been back in there. But you said, like, when you compare it to the other players, it doesn't quite stack up. We all understand this concept of Dyche fit, but surely Jarrad Brantwaite's at that position now just needs that sharpness.
I mean, you both give the... I guess you both agree that he should have been in the team against Southampton. You just said it there. I mean, Joe, just what Dyche said in his press conference, so when asked about it, why he opted to keep Brantwaite on the bench, Dyche said, the fact that the team were unbeaten in 5, the centre-halves have done very well, and I thought they did again today. My problem before kick-off was that obviously I hoped the team selection worked well. I just thought it was a huge risk, and you'd open yourself up to huge criticism if you lose the game. And I just think you bring Jarrad Brantwaite back in the team. He's not just our best defender, he's our best player. He enables our defence to go forward, 20 to 25 yards further forward. Having such a low block, that helps the midfield stay a little bit more compact, a little bit more solid. And it just enables your attack and play to push that little bit further forward, i.e. helping Dominic Calvert-Lewin in the box. I just think, you described it as a strange decision in your post-match video, and I completely agree with you. He's got to come back in for West Ham. I just think anything short of him not coming back in for West Ham is negligent.
Yeah, I think that, it was a strange decision, and you chime with a lot of what I said in one of the kind of opinion piece I did on Sunday night, where, again, I started this podcast by saying Everton could have won that game, but they could have done more to make sure that they had a better chance of winning that game. A lot of Everton's best opportunities and best moments for the majority of that match came from putting pressure on Southampton's defence and goalkeeper. It's been one of the narratives of the season has been that Russell Martin wants his team to play out from the back, and that his stubbornness, we're talking about a degree of Dyche stubbornness, his stubbornness in refusing to go any other way is repeatedly causing his own team problems because they get caught and they get punished. And we saw that happen time and time again in this game, or not necessarily time and time again. We saw when it did happen, when Everton did get high up and put pressure on, it did tend to create chances. Mangala had a great one in the second half. Dwight McNeil stepped in the first half and created that 4-on-4 and then held on to it for too long. That's where some of Everton's best chances came from. Obviously, the danger was that, and Southampton did this a little bit, was every now and then they break through that press, and then all of a sudden there's a big gap in midfield, and then they've got runners carrying the ball and try and exploit it. But against Southampton, it was pretty low risk. Their best opportunity that came through a similar situation like that saw Cameron Archer almost get through on goal at the end of the first half. Ashley Young's 39. He didn't beat Archer to the ball, but he forced him out wide enough to be able to make the angle too tight, really, for Archer to do anything with it. And I just think that if you have Jarrad Brantwaite on the pitch, then all of a sudden the whole defence can step up 10 yards further. Like you say, then the midfield becomes more compact. It just means that the team is more... It means that the team is able to more coherently put pressure. The players at the top end of the pitch can put pressure on the players, try to defend, play out from the defence. And then if they do get beaten, well, the midfield are on top of the players, so they can't then carry the ball forward. And then even if they do play a through ball and someone like Archer gets through, well, if you've got Jarrad Brantwaite, the chances are that he catches up with him or does enough to stop him. Like, it was low risk but high reward, because Southampton didn't look like they had the had the ability to beat Everton's backline for pace. If you have someone, even without Branthwaite, so you have someone with Branthwaite in it, it's even better. And Everton's best chances from open play, other than or at least for the first 75 minutes, came from capitalising on the mistakes that Southampton made when they could see. So it's a win-win. And then, even in some of the other circumstances where Southampton posed a threat, Taylor Harwood-Bellis, who scored against Everton from a set piece in the Carabao Cup, had a really good header at the end of the first half from a corner. He probably should have scored from it. Well, again, Everton have struggled dealing with balls into their box this season. They didn't struggle at all in that area last season. I don't think it's a coincidence that that's because Jarrad Branthwaite was playing then and he isn't now, because he's so big and he's so powerful and he's so dominant in the air in both boxes. He's a real attribute. He offers a real attribute to the team in that respect. So in terms of what you see on the pitch, and then that's when you then get into the improved relationship with Mykolenko and things like that. It's a no-brainer. And in terms of off the pitch as well, it's the type of thing where if Dyche brings Branthwaite in, it goes wrong. No one has a go at Dyche.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
and I think there have been enough. This is one of the themes of his time at Everton, when it's almost like he's held off on making the popular decision. Now Dyche can say that he's vindicated, and look, the big story of Dyche at Everton is the fact that he's kept them up 2 seasons in a row against the odds. Whatever we want to go on about and whatever we go on to talk about in this conversation and whatever happens in coming weeks, there's no doubt that Sean Dyche has done a really, really good job at a really, really important time for Everton. That isn't in doubt. And on the current trajectory, probably going to meet, I think he's probably could probably do that this season as well. Whether or not he does it as emphatically as we want or playing the right style, I think if the bare minimum is survival, I think, obviously losing to Southampton is worrying, and where we go in the next few weeks, there's some big games coming up which are bigger because of the failure to beat Southampton, and they could take us down into some interesting paths. But it's just a bit frustrating that there are times that when it feels like there's an easy option. He doesn't have to make the popular decision, but when it's a decision that you think will improve the team, and even if it goes wrong, he's got nothing to lose because no one's going to say, you shouldn't have brought Jarrad Brantwaite in. At that point, you're kind of like, why don't you just do it? I can't really see the reason, and it isn't fitness, because he said Brantwaite was fit for Ipswich and he gave him a rest. He's played him, even albeit in the last 2 games, he's played him in the final minutes, so he's obviously happy with him being it. That was my question to Dyche, and it's clear that it is form. And you say, surely he comes in for West Ham. Well, on the same logic, he's there saying, I thought they played very well again today. If it's form keeping Jarrad Brantwaite out, and he thinks the centre-backs did very well against Southampton, if he's consistent with that, you'd suggest that Brantwaite might not start against West Ham. Albeit, I think that you kind of have to take some of what Dyche says in public with a pinch of salt, and this is one of the big difficulties, say, in my role of constantly speaking to him and trying to work out what he's thinking and what Evan's approach is going to be, is I think we have to accept that there is a degree of game playing. He doesn't want people to know too much about what's going on inside the camp, and that might not be a bad thing. Why maybe he doesn't want every opposition manager to know everything that he thinks, but obviously it does. If you stick wholeheartedly to that approach, then it does lead to the friction in what we see, and we point out as inconsistency there, where it's Manil doesn't train for a week, comes in. Branthwaite's been fit for 3 weeks, doesn't come in. Decore's trained in the week, isn't even in the squad. That's it.
Well, these mind games are just ridiculous if that's what they are. I mean, Everton fans can see right through it. For me.
The Royal Blue Podcast from the Liverpool Echo.